Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel with your hosts, Doug and Jamie.
We are back, and this is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. I hope you enjoyed our interview with this week's film's bad boy, Karate's bad boy, Sean Kanan, who played Mike Barnes. And second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I cannot wait to talk about this third movie, which I never even knew about. I saw parts of it, but Karate Kid Part 3. But before we dive into this week's movie, I have to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you doing?
I could be better. Honestly, I don't really too much remember this movie. I feel like I've seen parts of it, but this is probably one of the most wild movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into it because we have a special guest today. But
yes, we do.
I did see this movie a few times, and I always thought it was the second best Karate Kid. I might have to reevaluate that again.
Yeah, I never even seen the one with Jackie Chan, but that definitely has to be better than this.
Oh, I'm not even talking about that one. That's not even a Karate Kid. That's that's a remake.
It's called Karate Kid.
I know, but
anyway, let's introduce our guest this week. We haven't had a guest since Major League 2, which is our second and third movie we did. This week we had Gina, and she actually knows Jamie. She reached out and said, "Hey, you guys should do Karate Kid Part 3." And Jamie came through, and he got Sean Kanan. So, Gina, how you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm excited to chat with you guys about this movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to watch it, but
well, I'm sorry I suggested it.
Well, you know what? I mean, Gina did her homework. She watched all three Karate Kids.
Did all three. I wanted to see if there was continuity, and I wanted to see the story from beginning to end. But this third one, it was tough.
Well, you're going to save time just by watching the third one.
I know.
You see like 4 minutes of the first one. Like the movie came out 5 years later, and they pretend like, oh, you know what? The people that are watching Karate Kid Part 3 never saw Part 1. And they basically forget about 2. They show no flashbacks to that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be honest with you. That's one of my biggest questions I have. So the timeline, all right, because they really don't show 2 that much. But so he ends in Karate Kid 1. He wins a tournament, and then he goes to Okinawa like that right away, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then he comes back right away and right into this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it basically a summer. So the summer was in Okinawa, and then it starts right away.
No, that's 100% true. And in this movie, they wanted to save so many parts of the movie, just like saving us time. There's so much storytelling. Like Daniel's son is talking about his girlfriend that he had in the second one. And it's like, yeah, she can't come to visit. Kimiko can't come and visit. It's like, why do we have to mention that? Nobody remembers that. And he's getting off the airplane. But yeah, let's get this party started.
All right. So, first of all, this movie reminded me of Rocky IV. This has a lot of Rocky IV to it. Not to mention that the bad guy has a similar haircut to Ivan Drago. Has a montage like a Rocky IV montage of all the movies. And I did like how it did a little montage of the first one, just to bring you back to Karate Kid. So I did like that part. I
really enjoyed the disheveled Martin Kove. He was like hungover. He looked like he was on drugs. And just the way he was stumbling into the room, no one was in there. And then we find out nobody's been in there for months. And then he does like a Rocky IV kind of thing. He sees the newspaper article that he keeps in front of him, just like relive this nightmare of Daniel LaRusso and Miyagi beating his ass. And he crumbles the photo.
See, now that's where the timeline. So he waited a whole summer to go back to the place. Like,
no, he just has no. We find out later he has no students. There's been a student in 8 months.
Interesting.
Right, ever since the tournament. Yeah, yes. The one that Daniel's son wins. Yeah, no one comes back after that.
So he stayed open for 8 months with no students.
Yeah, and times are rough for him because Pacific Bell is going to cut off his phone line. And you've hit rock bottom because Pacific Bell, a phone bill in 1979 was probably like $7. And he's having rough times paying that.
I actually read somewhere that the beginning of Karate Kid 2, that fight in the parking lot with Kreese and Mr. Miyagi, that was supposed to be the ending for Karate Kid 1. And it was supposed to end with all the Cobra Kai kids throwing their belts like just dropping their belts on crease as they walk away. So like that would have established a lot more that nobody is coming to his dojo anymore. I think that would have helped a little bit to see something like that.
Gina, you trying to take my job? Like you did a lot of research. That's a great, that's awesome. I mean, I didn't know that, but all right.
That's very cool though, right?
That's very cool. And you know what? That makes sense. I mean, that totally makes sense. I wonder if they knew there's going to be a trilogy. Like, I wonder if, or did they say, you know what? 2 is such a piece of garbage that we have to try to redeem it.
Whoa. 2 was pretty good with the little
Yeah. 2 holds up a little better than I thought it would.
Well, again, I thought 3 did too until I watched it. So
3, some things that I read in IMDb, like behind the scenes, but Ralph Macchio hated 3. They hated the storyline, and why wouldn't they? But one thing I have to say about this movie and why I would watch this again, Terry Silver. Dude, he's absolutely insane. And you know what? He's actually 4 months younger than Ralph Macchio when they filmed this movie. And he has a kid that's like 20 in the movie.
All right. Well, first of all, he's ridiculous. I mean, he really, like, his acting in the movie is so over the top. But not for nothing, what does he do for a living? Did he establish that?
They say something in the end, like he owns like Dinah something, and something with it's something that sounds very mafia, like with toxic waste.
Yeah, a lot of toxic waste stuff.
Yeah.
There's one point he gets upset because he can't dump toxic waste.
Correct. But they still don't explain it. He lives like in a castle. So they really didn't explain what he does for a living to have that much money. So we're just, I was curious.
Did you notice that he has phones in very odd places in the house, like the sauna and the bathtub? Like he's never on the phone in a normal place the whole movie.
And I love that. I love when he's taking the bath on the phone. I have the line written down somewhere, but I love that the old woman that's his secretary is just sitting there in a chair pulled up, just basically watching him take a bath.
Do you think that's his mom? He hired his mom because he's kind of creepy, so I could see him like hiring his mom.
Oh man! So I found that line here. It's later on in the movie, but I'll say it now. He goes, "What do you mean you can't dump it in Barnia? Who in Barnia knows what chloride sludge is? Just do it. Do it." He's insane, and just just everything about him in this movie is just beautiful. But he's crazy.
Between him and Kreese, they're basically picking on a 19-year-old. Like
and Mike Barnes.
Well, forget Mike Barnes because he's nuts as it is. And by the way, a way better bad guy than Johnny. I want to put that out there right now. He's like, I'd be scared of Barnes. Johnny looks like that rich preppy kid that just went to karate. He didn't want to do it. His mom made him do it, and then he got good at it. But between Kreese and Terry? What's his name? Terry, right?
Yeah, Terry Silver.
Terry Silver, yeah.
Okay. They're picking, and they have like vengeance against a 19-year-old kid. Like the whole movie is about humiliating him and like taking it personally. Like this kid, really, not for nothing, he got beat up in the first one. He didn't want to go to the tournament. He forced him. And why are they so mad at him? Just because he won? Like,
yeah. There's like a lot of needless rage in the whole movie.
There's definitely a lot of rage.
A lot of rage.
One of my favorite lines in the movie is that, of course, of the great Terry Silver. He is walking with his servants behind him, and he goes to his secretary. He's like, "Clear my schedule for 2 weeks because the only thing that's going to be on there is revenge." And it just, again, like you guys have mentioned, he's 18. Like I can understand until we knew that he got off the flight from Okinawa. You don't know if it's right afterwards.
Correct.
He could be 21, 22 in the movie. No. He's going to college. So he's an 18-year-old kid, and these old men just want to assault him.
And really, he did nothing but win a tournament. Like he really did nothing to either one of them. Yeah. So, that's weird.
So we mentioned Martin Kove before. So the first time we see Martin Kove, he's all down in the dumps because he has no money. He goes to visit Terry Silver, and he talks about telling him, I haven't had a student in 8 months. And then they start talking about Vietnam and how he saved his life so many times. And Terry Silver is a badass. One thing I want to ask now, is there an age limit on these competitions for karate? Because why wouldn't he enter the All Valley tournament and just beat the crap out of Daniel LaRusso himself?
I think in the first movie it was like a under 18 competition or something.
Yeah, but you know what though? They had that one Asian guy that would look a lot older than high school. You know, the one that faced Johnny in the semifinals. Like, he looked older.
Yeah.
He looked like he should have been in Bloodsport.
He was actually, I think he was Mr. Miyagi's stunt double, actually. I think.
No,
or he did the crane. No, was that not him?
What?
Maybe not.
Was he in a stunt? No. The guy was, he was in his like 30s. I don't think it was a stunt double, right?
Well, I don't know. I know Sean Kanan's like sensei was the stunt double for Miyagi-san.
Maybe he was. I'll have to look into that.
I don't know.
Oh, you're getting a lot of points. You're getting a lot of points today.
Points. So Martin Cove, when Terry Silver goes, take some time off. I'm going to send you to Tahiti, and you're going right now. And then he's driving. They show like this big camera shot, like of just the car driving, and he's just talking back. He goes, "I'm gonna get back that slope, Miyagi, and that punk kid Danny." I was like, "Wow, this guy's he's intense." Well,
they used the term slope twice in a movie. Is that PC?
No.
No. Okay. I just didn't know. It seemed very racist.
And just a lazy joke. He could have said something better.
They got to keep it PG-13, right?
That's why 13, because they use that.
Yes. And I saw somebody that was famous later in life. Maybe she was in movies after this, but the crazy lady that is outside of the building, that's the grandma from Billy Madison.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. She was whacked out. She said, "Is this my taxi cab?" No, lady. Two people are getting out of the taxi cab. That's not how taxi cabs work.
So what is she? The owner of the building? She's the landlord?
No, she's just some wacko lady. They sold the property. That's why Miyagi was out of a job.
See, I got all confused with that. So Miyagi's gone. They don't give him any notice or anything. So he just comes back at his own shop.
Well, he was gone for a while. They were in Okinawa storyline wise, like 6-7 months, it seemed.
Yeah, like a long time. Yeah.
I thought it was the high school summer.
Maybe it was.
It might have been like maybe 3 months. We'll go 3 months.
Well, that's the high school summer. All right.
There you go.
That's where my confusion with the timeline was there. So.
Yeah.
and I guess it's the same time we meet Uncle Louie. What's with him?
I'm trying to think. Who, Uncle Louie?
Uncle Louie. That's where the mom is.
Oh, the old guy in the bed. Yeah.
Like so
that was a weird scene.
And Daniel is like living now with Miyagi.
Yeah.
I didn't get that whole thing. Like, why even have her in the movie? Was she that busy? Was her career that big? I never seen her in another movie, and she couldn't spare 5 minutes of screen time. It was just a quick thing, like, emphysema. It's like, okay, mom, never to be heard from again.
But he was like yelling out and like Uncle Louie. He just acted like weird. Like
he had a bell.
Yeah. And he's sitting right next to her. Like, I don't think she needs to ring the bell.
So then Daniel wants to convince Miyagi to start his own bonsai shop, which is there really a market for that?
Well, I was going to ask that. Like, how many people really buy, it's like you're going to shop just for bonsais.
Yeah.
Like there's actually a shop. I remember, I think David Letterman did it once years ago that sells lampshades, just lampshades. Is that a big market? Do people go like, I can be honest. I've never bought a lampshade ever. Like usually it comes with a lamp. So like bonsais, like, do you think enough people are buying bonsais? Let alone spending $10,000 on one.
I know. When they said that price, I'm like, man, you know what? This is like they're basically marketing to Terry Silver. He could buy every bonsai that's out there.
What was Miyagi's job before this? He was like a maintenance man?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the building where Daniel lived. Yeah.
How do you afford that house? Because he's got a nice house too.
It is nice. I was thinking about this, and the only thing I can think of is that, he was such a good handyman that he probably was able to do everything himself in terms of the maintenance. So I feel like you could work it out that way. But otherwise, I can't imagine how much he was actually making as a handyman at the apartment building.
Yeah, it's like the house flipper shows. House hunters, Miyagi would be great at that. He could do all the renovations and take care of everything. And this is one of the movies. I talked to Jamie a bunch when we do this, and I'm like, this would be a great sequel or a prequel or a spinoff. How about a Miyagi prequel? Find out his story. We find out in this movie, he was like a Japanese internment camps. He fought in the war, like all these very interesting things. And we can find out, how he did afford that house. Maybe he won it in a card game.
Well, I have to be honest. I think Miyagi acted great in this movie. He almost cried about 3 times. Like he showed his acting range. So I give him a lot of credit. This was his best acting role.
I think he was the best in the whole movie, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Terry Silver was was this Pat Morita's best acting since the movie, his buddy cop movie with Jay Leno? That is a movie.
I know.
Real
and I think I saw it years ago.
Oh, I've seen that multiple times.
Yeah. Too bad no sequel.
Too bad. So JB, what do you got next?
Well, I mean, what I have next. All right. So Daniel is walking around with his college tuition in his pocket because he pulls out money. He pulls out a wad of cash. He says, "This is what I have to help you out." So that's first of all. So like he was walking around with his college tuition in his pocket. Not to mention that they don't now. Does Miyagi think his mom is going to be okay with this? That is spending his college tuition to be partners in a bonsai place. Like they don't mention that at all. Like I don't think the mom would be happy about that.
I know. I hope she wouldn't be. The thing I have to question is, I'm not a real estate agent, but would a real estate agent let an 18-year-old kid walk in and get a lease? Like with no, like it was just like that. It just it was so fast.
Well, I think when you have a place that looks like it's been deserted for about 25 years, the cobwebs that are from the ceiling to the floor, I think she's just happy to get rid of it.
You'll sell it to anybody at that point.
Right. So
you're responsible for kicking out the homeless and the riffraff, and you can have it.
So that place was in a poverty kind of place. Like it wasn't like a rich area, right? Like it says like they're building up the town.
Did you say poverty? Did you say poverty or pottery? Because there's a pottery store right across the street.
A very lovely and quaint one, by the way.
It was, and we know where she's from.
Teen Witch, baby.
But so in a place like that, that's not a money place. Is there a high market for bonsai trees?
I don't know.
In an impoverished area, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, they might not have enough money for food, but as long as we have enough money for bonsai trees, then that's an important thing.
And a beautiful pot for it to go in.
That is true.
Right.
And okay, well, let's get to the pot now. So in college, I needed extra credits, and I took pottery. Okay, and I used a pottery wheel. And then we had a bunch of people in the class. No one did the pottery wheel the way she did. First of all, she did it very sexual and dramatic, and like it doesn't work that way. I'm just telling you.
Did anybody think of Ghost when you saw that?
Oh yeah,
of course. I'm saying first of all, the pot was already done, and she's still just going up and down and making it. But that's not how you make pottery. I'm just putting it out there.
What year did Ghost come out? That came out in 90, right, or 91? Maybe that inspired.
I think so.
Somebody watching this movie in the theater, they're like, "Oh, I got it. I got it."
Well, this movie came out the same year as Teen Witch.
She was
same year.
You know what? Robin Lively, the better Lively, she was crushing it.
Wait, that's Blake Lively's sister?
Yeah.
Really?
She was born. Blake Lively must have been an accident because she was born in like 92 or 93.
Why are you saying it like we should have known that? Like you're acting like of course.
That's not a normal. It's not like the last name is Johnson or Brown. It's Lively.
But she looks like she's the same age as Blake Lively is now that she was back then. I mean, Blake Lively is pretty young, right?
Yeah, she's like 25.
Okay, so this movie came out, 20 years ago?
30 years ago.
Okay, 30 years ago. Are you sure they're sisters?
Yeah, they're sisters.
Okay.
She's got to be older than 25, Blake Lively, right? Is she older than that?
I feel like Ryan Reynolds was just like, I want to take her young. He was like scouting like the set of Gossip Girl, and he's like, I'll take that one. And she's 18, right? So one of my favorite parts of this whole movie is Terry Silver, and he's flipping through. He goes, "Did you get the magazines I wanted?" Oh, and I love when he's like, I got to get inside, and I got to like trick this Daniel kid in order to. So he's like, "What are some crappy cars that you can get me?" There's 3 like jalopies, and he goes, "Hey, just make sure it runs." Hey, asshole, how the hell the car get there? Obviously, they have to run in order to get there. So that made no sense. But he says, "Did you get my magazines?" And he's in the car. After he looks at those crappy cars, he's in like a nice like limo, like a town car kind of thing. And he's flipping through, and it says, "Karate's bad boy."
Yeah.
Mike Barnes. That guy must be famous already if he's already getting a title like that.
And he just willingly just went to his house. Like, he just reached out to him. I mean, that was, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
With his cronies.
Well, I mean, around the same time, Daniel and Miyagi are doing some karate on a mountain, on a cliff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
He isn't that kind of dangerous? Like, they were like really close to the cliff. I mean, there's a lot of danger in this movie. I mean,
yeah.
And we'll get to the repelling scene, which is like ridiculous. But I just feel like, there's a lot of danger in this movie.
Yeah, and then at that same point, that's right after he went to Miyagi and said, hey, I got this building. And then they're in that same area, and Miyagi and Daniel are stealing plants from nature. You can't do that. That's illegal. You just can't do that. So between the illegal dumping by Terry Silver and these two crooks, this film definitely promotes hurting the environment, because you can't just go out there and steal a tree. That's a arrestable offense.
Are you a tree expert?
Well, I used to work for True Green.
That is true.
Oh, okay.
That's how Doug and I met. Do we get paid for that plug?
I don't know. We didn't get paid back then.
We didn't get paid when we worked for them. We're not. we were. I guess we were back when Miyagi started, messing around with the bonsai. And you see that drawing he drew?
Yes.
That looked like Bob Ross could have drawn that. That was like an unbelievable drawing. That was a happy tree.
Can we talk a little bit about Jessica and this whole like platonic relationship?
That was weird.
It was so I hated it so much.
Well, I like how she agrees to go on a date with him, and then the next, when he goes to pick her up, then she's like, well, you may not want to go out with me now. Like, why don't you be up front in the beginning?
Yeah.
You have a boyfriend. Like, what was she like leading him on completely?
Right. And she's got a picture of her quote unquote boyfriend with his face ripped off. So like, what else is Daniel going to think? And also, like, did you notice like Daniel has no game at all? And somehow he always gets these really pretty girls to go out with him. And I can't figure it out.
Not only does he have no game, but he wears like mom pants.
Yes.
Like it's like he has his shirt tucked in, his pants are really high, and he definitely can't dance. And we'll get to that later on.
And the shirt. Well, Gina, if you went on a date, if you were on like not a blind date because you knew what the guy looked like, and he showed up wearing a Hawaiian shirt, there's two people in this world that can wear a Hawaiian shirt: Jimmy Buffett and the Hawaiian Punch guy. That is all it's allowed. Yeah, that whole platonic relationship. And then it was like this long expose. She's like, yeah, we dated for a while. We broke up 2 months ago. Well, it's like, I'm sleeping already. Why do you have to go through this whole thing? Just make it that they're like kind of going to be friends. You don't have to use that whole backstory.
Correct.
We don't know that guy unless he's Mike Barnes.
That's what I thought. That would have been so cool.
You know what? That would have been great. She finds out. See, that's how you can make the movie better.
But Mike Barnes does kick her in the chest.
He does.
That was also so messed up.
That's very messed up.
And then when they leave, she's totally fine.
Well, he's also dangling her from the cliff, and I pretend to drop her. So, again, we're not there yet, but I mean, there's a lot of danger there. But so back to his Hawaiian shirt, though. Does anyone actually hum like Hawaiian songs when you get out of the shower and like getting dressed? Like he was humming, like he had game. Like that was his game. The humming.
And he was shaking his butt and dancing.
Was shaking his butt.
It was uncomfortable for me to watch.
I don't know if that was uncomfortable or that Terry Silver was peeping around. The way the music, when you saw the silhouette of Daniel dancing, and then the music heightened, and Terry Silver's there, and Terry Silver's never been there before. How the hell did he know to go right to that box and know?
I wrote that down too. The only place he looked was that box, which is which by the way, they don't have any lock. Miyagi has no locks in that house because everybody just walks in the backyard. Everybody just walks in the house. Like he's really not afraid of anybody. But yes, he walked right to that box.
He couldn't afford locks. He could just afford the house barely. Locks didn't come with it. And times are rough for him right now.
Well, and I also karate, so he could stop somebody.
I also would think that Miyagi, that box is a lot of sentimental value. I don't think he would just leave it out in the open like that. Like this seems like something would be like under the bed or something like, but Terry knew exactly where to go. Yeah. And he saw the right picture frame that he needed to see as he's leaving.
And somehow like climbs into the fireplace to hide.
And he starts going, ooh, because he burns the karate registration. But you know what's funny? The scene before when they introduce, like, he goes, hey, Miyagi, so they changed the rules to the All Valley tournament that the defending champion only needs to fight in the final this year. It's like, what the hell? Why? What is that? That was like, we only have like 5 minutes for the final scene. We need to cut 3 minutes of you fighting nobodies.
Well, wouldn't you be pissed if you're like Johnny, who's a returning champion who had to go through the tournament every single year,
Right.
and then you have Daniel just walks out there? You know, yeah, that is a little ridiculous.
No money in the budget for a tournament montage. They couldn't do it.
That is funny. That is.
Johnny should have been in this movie at the end. In the crowd, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if Mike Barnes is going to show up on this TV show.
Maybe
That'd be cool.
This got greenlit, I think, for another season.
Yeah, it's a great show. So, well, how about that Terry's like main henchman is like a 23-year-old kid?
It's his son in the movie. They never mention it. Yeah, it was like one of the guys, either one of the producers in the movie. He auditioned for Mike Barnes. They loved it the way he auditioned, but they obviously fell in love with Sean after the other guy didn't work. And then they basically wrote this role. That's why he's Terry Silver's son. But they never really mentioned.
They don't mention that. Okay. All right. I thought that was a little weird.
I didn't realize that was his son.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I only read it. I read about it, but there was no line like, hey, but he only talked to him for the most part.
Well, then I'm glad that he wasn't Mike Barnes because he wouldn't have done a good job. Like he was a little pudgy. You know, he wouldn't have fit the role. I mean, I think Barnes is a way better badass by far than Johnny. You know,
and a way better negotiator. I'll give you 25% stock in all the Cobra Kai dojos. And he's like, how about, you know what? I think I changed my mind. I was thinking about it. 50 or I walk. And he's like, ooh, 50%. That's a lot. And then he starts to walk. He goes, are you as good at karate as you are a negotiator? He's like, even better at karate.
Wait, hold on. That was your Terry impression?
No. I don't have a Terry now.
Okay.
No, I wish I did. That guy.
You sounded more like the guy in Okinawa.
No, but dude, Terry Silver has some really great lines in this movie. Even then, Mike Barnes walks in and he's like, cool place. And he's like, hey, you can crash here. You get a weekly draw in a car. It's like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. What is so big about winning this tournament?
He has like unlimited money. And again, no one knows what he does.
I know.
Toxic waste.
Yes. There's a huge market. 1989, late 80s. Yeah.
There's so much waste. Don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
Well, is this Miyagi gets in a fight, right? What his first fight? Doesn't he? Because I wrote down Miyagi's karate is like in slow motion. Like
when he comes in, when Robin Lively.
Okay.
The first time. There's like 3 scenes in a row that are all probably like filmed at the same time. First time Robin Lively and Daniel LaRusso were just talking. They came in. They tried to like fight. I don't know if they were really fighting the first time. He gave him the registration. He's like, you better sign up for this, man, because I need this. This is a big payday for me financially. And then the next scene later, she brings a bunch of mac and cheese over, which is what is happening?
Well, okay. Now, Daniel LaRusso. So I'm assuming he's Italian, right?
Yeah.
And his favorite food is macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. I'm Italian.
So am I. Okay, so am I. So that kind of bothered me a lot, you know, even though his mom sounded very Jewish. The mom sounds very Jewish, and I looked her up. She's not Italian. So.
Jesus, why can't they just give Italian actors the Italian roles? No, but when he's eating, she goes, me and my aunt were supposed to eat dinner, but she had other plans. So I have all this macaroni and cheese. Is that all you were going to eat for dinner?
And did she make it or she bought it?
No, she ate it.
Oh, she can't. But she looked like she brought a delivery bag. Like, I don't know. It looked like it was a paper bag. Like, right? I mean.
I think
pottery and macaroni and cheese are her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He was really excited about that mac and cheese. Like a little too excited.
he mentioned he's loving mac and cheese about 3 times. Like in the down. Same. Yeah, he did like 3 times.
Yeah. And then he rates it. She goes, what do you think? He's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's I forgot some ridiculous number. He says like a 14. She like smiles like hey, lady, it's not that hard to make mac and cheese.
And again,
goes to 11.
And this is a girl that has a boyfriend. She's bringing late night dinner over. Like she's a little messed up. You know. Definitely a little messed up.
Definitely leading him on.
Oh, the whole movie. She kisses him later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we never see her again. She's just gone.
I would hope there's a deleted scene right after that. She calls the ex-boyfriend. So this guy, Daniel, he ate my mac and cheese. He did what? I'm coming out there right now. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, which they had to like mention that. Like, Columbus,
well, I did think something was going to happen when he left, and then he opened the door again. And then I thought something, but then he said thank you, and he left. But I thought something was going to happen.
So right there, the mac and cheese scene is when Mike Barnes and the whole gang come back and just, Mike Barnes throws Daniel through a plate glass window inside of the shack, the bonsai shack. Then, when he kicks her in the chest, and then Miyagi, the freaking garage door opens up, and it's like almost like just silhouette of him. God.
Is he like a superhero?
He's Yoda. He's Yoda.
Well, I wrote that down. I wrote Yoda down. Yeah. He is absolutely Yoda. If you saw, I think it was like Star Wars 2 or 3, with the newer ones, when Yoda starts fighting, that's Miyagi. Because his karate's in slow motion. Like, he does a kick and it pauses, and the guys go flying. It's ridiculous. I know he's really good, but does he have super strength?
Yeah, he's got old man. He's got old man strength.
Well, he's also a wizard with that green potion that he made later on. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, what was that about?
Well, you don't want to know what's in it, he said. You don't want to know what's in it.
And then I love when he's spinning out. So all the guys, the gang leaves because they're scared. They're spinning out and there's an 80s Mustang.
They're just doing donuts in the street in front of the bonsai store.
Yeah. And you're going to pay for this, Daniel. And then they just beat the train, which is really, really wild that they did that. And Sean Kanan, who we interviewed last week, he said that was the only scene he used a stunt double for.
Smart.
Well, to be honest with you,
definitely.
I didn't realize that Miyagi did have a stunt double. I thought he knew karate. You see his stunt double in some of these scenes when he's doing karate.
Definitely.
I didn't realize it. I slowed it down a few times. You can see it clearly. It's stunt double.
And then the gang steals all the trees. They steal all the trees. And he goes, Miyagi, I'm going to go to the police station. And he goes, no police station. And he walks away. And then he goes, Hold on. Pat Morita, he's on the line.
Okay.
So he goes, hey, Miyagi, this is the 80s. Somebody's got to do something about this. And then he drives off. And then right away, the police station's really doing nothing, which maybe Terry Silver's paying them off. Then Daniel takes Robin Lively to start stealing more trees. And this scene, we talked about ghosts being inspired from this movie. Cliffhanger.
Oh, without a doubt. Okay, so first of all, that's a massive, massive cliff.
Yes.
Someone who's never rappelled before, you're just going to go down there on wearing white sneakers, not even grippy sneakers. And their harness isn't even really attached. Because when he goes to the bottom, he just unlaces it, pulls it out. It's not even wrapped or anything. That seemed like the most dangerous thing ever. And she's she's teaching them as they're rappelling.
Yeah.
There was no lesson beforehand. They're just going down, no helmets, nothing. That was insane.
She's just wrap it around your leg, just like that. And he's like this? Yeah. Oh, I think I know it. And then she goes flying off. I'm like, what is happening?
Well, before that, so he goes first. He might have gone maybe 3 feet and he already fell.
Yeah.
He already slipped. At that point, you would think all right, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. He didn't even go anywhere, yet when they go back and show the camera, he's already halfway down the mountain.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I've done this before, but I've never done a cliff this high.
There's nothing here tells you this is a bad idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
But I feel like this movie is so much just a series of Daniel making really bad choices, the whole movie. And even when the bad guys steal the bonsai tree, I had a hard time feeling bad for Daniel because I was like, you put yourself in this situation.
He in this movie, he's whiny the entire movie, and he's like a selfish brat this entire movie. After what he went through in Okinawa in part 2, you would think his bond with Miyagi, he would totally listen to him and everything. No, he goes his own way. He became selfish.
That's why this is the misadventures of Daniel LaRusso.
It really is.
Whole movie. And then he takes out which he shouldn't have done. Miyagi basically put that there for a reason. He takes the bonsai out. And then when he goes to save the girl, he goes, whoosh. And then he throws it into the salt water. And he's like, oh, we got to get down there. That salt water is going to kill it. And dude, this scene, Mike Barnes was going to risk murdering 2 people just to dude, when they pull the ropes up, honestly, I was not expecting that to happen because why would this be in a movie?
Well, before you even get there, so they're halfway in the mountain, so they're not close to the bottom. He flips that bonsai tree in the water, which somehow does not wash away as the water's going there. How fast how did they get down there so fast? Like they really the timeline of them climbing from the 3 feet all the way down was really fast.
I don't know, dude. That was crazy. Is that another where they were?
I don't know.
Yeah, they were down there so fast, and then, dude, when they're just sitting there, and at first I thought the water was going to come in. I thought we were going to see like an underwater scene. I had no idea, dude. But when the ropes start flying up, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, these guys are here.
Well, let me ask you. So if that was like a hollow cliff, so if the water did come in there, can't you just float it to the top?
That's what I thought. I thought they'll be like, oh, we'll just float to the top.
Right. Yeah. Why can't you that would be it's not like it'd be different if it was enclosed, but it's not enclosed. So just ride it to the top.
Yeah.
That's what Jamie would have done. Whatever. I'm just going to float to the top.
They're risking, if he doesn't sign it, they're going to leave him down there. Like they're going to murder 2 people if he doesn't sign it. That was their plan?
I guess so.
Well, when you work for Terry Silver, you got to step it up a notch. Like, you have to. That's like Terry Silver's gonna be like, yeah, but dude, next time throw alligators down there.
What are you? What's that cartoon with the Whiplash?
Oh, from Wacky Races.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Snidely or something. Or
Snidely was the dog.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Duke
Dastardly. Maybe. Dirk Spenley.
That's what you sounded like. That's.
So I don't know if it happened yet already. I should have wrote it down, but we already got to when Miyagi wouldn't train? Oh no, I guess it's right after this, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think it is right after
this. Because he officially signed the letter. Yeah. So now this is where Miyagi shows some of his acting chops. Because I think it starts with him asking how to sweep, right? Wait.
That's later.
That's later on. Okay.
That's right. Because Terry Silver finds Daniel practicing karate in Miyagi's backyard area, right? And he shows him how to sweep a leg.
Yeah, well, I think that's the second time. The first time, I think Daniel and Robin Lively are jogging, and that's when Terry Silver goes. He pulls up in his broken up truck to show he's the man of the people, and then he offers to drop off the book because this guy's a psycho. But then he coordinates that whole other. The next scene is all just drummed up. It's like
the next scene, the next few scenes he organizes.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's like the next thing they show him training. Mike Barnes just walks right through the front door. He doesn't come in through anything. He looks like he walks through the house. And I mentioned this to Sean. He looks exactly like Cody from Step by Step. And then when he told me that they used to get confused for each other back then, and then Cody obviously was in Bloodsport. No, Kickboxer. Yeah. But yeah, dude, that thing's crazy, dude. It's like 2 psychos, like Psycho 1 and Psycho 2. They're just like messing with this 18-year-old kid.
Well, but again, Psycho 2, Barnes is Daniel's age. He's a young kid, so I can see that. He's the bad boy of karate. He wants to go against Daniel who won the tournament. But Terry is a grown man. Like that's where it gets weird. I could see someone having an attitude for someone that, listen, if I'm the bad boy, I got to beat the best around. So I'm okay with that. It's Terry I have a problem with.
And don't forget Psycho 3 when Kreese jumps out behind his Kreese life-size picture.
Here's the big spoiler. He's not, obviously we know he's not dead, but basically Terry Silver's like, yeah, right after this, the same scene. He's like, yeah, John, he killed, heart attack. He died of a heart attack. And then he's like, he's sorry, best friend. And then the best part of this whole movie happens 3 or 4 times. Terry Silver basically winks at the audience. Yeah. He looks at the camera and he smirks right after that, man. He does it there honestly multiple times.
What do they call it? Breaking the third wall or something like that?
Breaking the fourth wall.
Fourth wall. He absolutely does it multiple times. He definitely is a nut. I mean,
we're on his side. We're in on it with him. Good one, Terry.
And he looked like Seth MacFarlane. So the whole time I was just like, is this Seth MacFarlane's dad? I don't know. Well,
did you notice that in the beginning? We passed already, but in the beginning when he's talking about I got to look, poorer, he has the ponytail. He has a bow. He has a white bow in his hair.
Oh, really?
Holding his ponytail together. It was a white bow.
I thought he was going for like a Steven Seagal kind of look-alike thing. I don't know.
He kind of looked like him.
A little bit, right?
You know what?
Maybe they couldn't get Steven Seagal, so they went with this guy.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. Although he could probably run better than Steven Seagal.
I would hope so. But so yeah, this is the part when Daniel goes, "Hey, he gave me this book on sweeping. So do you think you could show me Miyagi, dude?" When he brings
that is my favorite part of the movie. That's my favorite part of the movie.
And he's like, "That's it. You think you can make this funny? You think you can joke around about this?" And then he gets in the car, dude, and then he walks into the enemy's lair. He walks into the Cobra Kai dojo, which pretty much for the rest of the movie, Terry Silver's just sleeping there. He lives there.
Was Miyagi singing in the car already, or that we passed that?
Oh, that already happened.
Was he drunk?
No, he's just being happy.
Okay.
This guy's been through a lot. That's why I want his backstory.
I just thought he was drunk at the time. Like, all right, never mind. So he decided. Now, what are the hours of the Cobra Kai? Because it seems like he's always there late at night now.
I think he just lives there the rest of the movie. They're not. Nobody goes there.
Yeah, they don't have any students, so I guess it's open when he's there.
Doesn't Daniel realize that either? Like he just goes there late at night, and just there's never anyone there.
18-year-old kid just want to hang out with honestly, his age-wise, the Vietnam War ended, I think, 74, 75. So he's got to be, say, even if he was 18 in the war, this guy's like 34, 35, just beating the shit out of a kid. Yeah. And the lines that he says to these, you think he's a nice guy, right? He's pretending to be nice the whole time. So to Daniel, he's like, hey, this is this adult that's trying to help me out. How about when he's just training him, dude? He's such a madman.
Well, you would think that Daniel at that point would be like, whoa, like, what am I getting myself into? Because there was a switch that went off on Terry when he started training him. And it really started coming out. But he also, not for nothing, he was wearing a Cobra Kai gi in the beginning of the movie at his house. So he's obviously psycho. I mean, what grown man's going to wear the Cobra Kai gi at his own house? So.
There was something like really weird. Like it maybe I wrote down my notes, like when he was training Daniel, it reminded me of like when you see an abusive relationship, because he's like very slowly pulling Daniel in, and then he just like gets Daniel to like self-harm and then, makes Daniel feel bad about it. Like it was just so weird and uncomfortable for me.
A man who can't stand, can't fight. And then he's convincing Daniel to break his own foot. And then when Terry goes to it, this is why I think he should be in the tournament. He breaks that whole wooden man, that wooden training man. He just beats the crap out of it. And then Daniel's unable to walk.
Yeah.
But the next day it's gone.
Oh, he's still limping a little bit.
No, the bruise is gone. Yeah. The bruise was gone the next day.
Yeah.
Because he had
one day.
Because the wizard came out, Mr. Miyagi. He brings out that green powder that smoked when he put it in the water.
Yeah.
And it was gone. Don't forget, man. He has healing powers too when he slaps his hands together and goes like this.
Right.
So and I'm sorry if anyone on the podcast didn't see what I just did, because that's obviously visuals don't work.
He smacked his hands together and he rubbed them for us. Only us. You can just imagine that. But you know what? I would love a Terry Silver movie too. That's another thing I would love, because he learns. Where does he learn these? Are these the Cobra Kai like doctrine? Do they have their own little like karate Bible that they go to? Because it's like, if a man can't breathe, he can't fight. Of course, if somebody can't breathe, they can't fight.
Can't do anything.
Yeah. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But like, was he like a founding member of Cobra Kai?
I don't know. I guess because Martin Cove saved his life too many times to remember. I like that. He's like, how many times did you save me again? He's like, too many times. It's like, dude, you need to get out of the war. Because you are obviously, if Martin Cove has to watch out for your lazy ass the whole time, it's like, dude, this guy needs to focus on killing, not watching saving you the whole time.
So maybe he's an honorary like member of the Cobra Kai.
Maybe.
I mean, because I thought maybe he was like the owner. Since he has all that money.
Yeah, I don't know. Why did he? Again, I mentioned this a million times, but why does Daniel have to lose the tournament for everything to be good? Like, the Cobra Kai.
Because if Cobra Kai wins, then like they're back on the map. Like,
I think it'd still win without it. That Mike Barnes can beat the crap out of anybody. He's the new champion.
But you didn't beat the winner. Like you didn't beat Daniel-san. Killed the whole Cobra Kai, place. So in order to get recognition, you have to beat the best.
I was just thinking that was a good part. That was a good chance for Terry while he's training him. Accidentally just roundhouse shit the kick out of it. Like he kicked him right in the back of the head. He's hurt, and then that's it.
Just take him out of commission.
Yeah.
And I was waiting because like Mike Barnes would have just won the tournament anyway. Like he could have just, represented Cobra Kai and just won. I don't know why they had to get Daniel involved and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Well, the beating the crap is they wanted him to suffer. Again, that's part of the psychoness of adults wanted this 18-year-old kid
right.
to bleed and suffer. That's again, the kid did nothing but win a tournament. Like he did nothing at all to them, and they wanted to bleed and suffer.
Yeah.
That's a little.
I know. Going back to the first one, he gets tormented the whole time. He has a whole group of skeletons trying to beat the crap out of him in his epic costume. Daniel's costume is one of the best costumes ever.
Yes, but if you hear like certain, you ever watch How You Met Your Mother? And Johnny was on there, and he talks about how he was the victim. Daniel came there, and he took his girlfriend. He came to the party. He antagonized them. He threw water on them. So really, Daniel was the bad guy of the first movie. According to Johnny.
Wait, so in How I Met Your Mother, Karate Kid's real? Or is it a movie?
No. The actor. No. But he talks about this is why he loved. We're going off topic, but Barney in the show, Neil Patrick Harris loves Johnny because he thinks he was the real hero.
Not so much. He was getting chased by 8 men and then Miyagi beat him up. But so then at the next part, men who can't see can't fight, which again, these are obvious things. He's basically turning Daniel into Darth Vader because this is Star Wars. If you think about it, he's making a good guy,
well,
into a bad guy.
I think this is, again, you're going to slowly get into also Rocky, the whole training where you see Barnes, training, and then you see Danielson doing his ballet.
Yeah.
Kata.
Kata. Is that real? Is kata real?
I think so. I think what they did in the movie is like a version of the real thing.
Because I got to be honest with you, if I saw someone doing that, I kind of laugh. Like, I mean, I'm no karate expert. Are you? Anyone here a karate expert?
No, but we can get one on the podcast.
Okay. We had one on the podcast.
Oh, we did. Yeah. No, I could ask. I should have asked him.
Yeah.
He would have laughed at me probably. But so then the next part, he goes to the nightclub, and Robin Lively, man, in that waitress vest, she looked pretty good. I was like, dude, I take her over Blake.
So Daniel's going to a dance club. First of all, dance club. I never called it a dance club, but dance club with I think he had a bow tie on. So he had a sweater. I think he had a sweater with a bow tie and then the jacket over the sweater.
He can't trust. We already know that. But then we see them dancing on the dance floor, and we see the camera in this weird area, and then we see Terry Silver pop out of nowhere. And dude, he's like doing that like winky eye thing. He grabs some random guy, and he goes, "Hey man, here's $20. Basically, go hit on that check, dude." And then that's crazy too.
Well, before that, can we talk about Daniel's dance moves, like spinning around? Like, I mean, now Gina. Now you're at a club, okay, and you're dancing with a guy who's like spinning around like that. Mm-hmm. Like, is that like a sign of like I got to leave now?
That's when I slowly back away and I turn my back to him, and then I start dancing with somebody else, and then make my way off the dance floor to the bathroom, and I hide until he leaves. That's right. My plan. He's a really good dancer. Who
is?
Daniel. He does that whole swing dance thing.
And he dances in the second movie, right? Oh, you're talking about part 2.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
Doesn't he dance in the first one too?
I don't know.
Or they play miniature golf. Oh,
him and Elizabeth Shue?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they dance. They slow dance in the shower.
Whoa. I didn't see that version.
The Halloween costume shower.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So Terry, when this guy hits on Robin Lively, and obviously he's not Daniel's not using the Miyagi-san like way of thinking, and he's just looking at this guy. He looks furious, and Terry's like the evil Jiminy Cricket, and he's like, punch him, let out all the anger, Daniel.
Well, this is the guy that was hitting on a girl that he kind of like walked away right before.
Yeah, yeah.
So he knew I got the best creep to do this.
Yes.
And then he sees Daniel, and Daniel just questions why he's here, and all he says is, "Oh yeah, you told me, remember?" And then and that's it. Like, and Daniel went along with it. Oh yeah, I must have told him.
And then after he punches him, he was like a 10-year-old kid. He's like, "Hey, we just rang the doorbell. Let's run. Let's go. We got to get out of here." And he's like, "No, man, I got to go back in here." And this is why Daniel's such a wuss. He goes, I got to go in there and see if he's all right. And then later, like the next scene, he's calling the hospital to make sure he's all right. You know,
well, how about the fact that he left the girl there? So he goes there with the girl, and then he punches the kid, and then he runs and leaves her there with all that commotion. Like, it could have been, it's probably a bar fight at that point. Like, if that happened, it probably would have been a bar fight or something. Like, were other people involved? He's going to leave the girl there? Like.
And did you see how much blood was on his shirt from that one punch?
I know.
Yeah, and there was a lot of blood in the guy's nose. I don't think he hit him that hard. Like,
No.
It didn't seem that hard.
Well, he was learning from Terry Silver. Terry Silver made his knuckles bleed. He's like, don't pretend it's Mike Barnes' blood. When he's punching the Mike Barnes karate's bad boy face, and he's like, yeah. God, he is just insane. Dude.
Well, I like what the guy with the bloody nose, as they're running away, he's like, where am I going to get my money?
Yeah.
The guy promised me money, man.
Yes, that is great. I wrote down the first two movies are karate movies. This is a psychological thriller. Because he's just in his mind, like just a mind-blowing thing. Because it's crazy, just Terry this whole time. Every time Daniel does something to either hurt himself or we were talking about the winking at the camera. How about when he's like, Daniel, you know what? If you don't want to be great, then fine, I'm just going to leave. And he leaves. He goes off camera, comes back, peers around, and then he just starts like smiling and laughing silently when Daniel's like, you know what? I'll be back tomorrow.
Something tells me this is not the first time Terry's done something like this.
Oh,
because his planning is way too good. And again, that scene when he goes around the corner and waits and to listen to him punching that thing, he knew Daniel was going to do that. Yeah. So I have a feeling Terry's done this a few times.
I feel like if he had a mustache, he would have been stroking it in that moment, just kind of like, I've got
easily
now.
So then Gina touched on this before. So Daniel tells Miyagi what happened, that he punched a guy. And then he goes, I want to go tell Terry that I don't want to train with him anymore. Dude, that scene was one of the coolest scenes. Martin Cove. He's there. He's talking to Terry Silver. And then nowhere, Martin Cove pops out behind his own cardboard cutout. And then, dude, and then just before that, Mike Barnes storms in the thing. And this is like, dude, this is like thinking someone's dead. He's like back to life.
Yeah. Can you imagine like a shock in Daniel's face? I mean, because that was 2 surprises for him. He didn't know. Well, actually 3, because he didn't realize that Terry was a creep. And then you see Barnes come out, and then you see, pop out and scare him. Like, that was like, that was a total, like, an uncomfortable situation. Because really, he was blocking the door so he couldn't leave. Like, what goes through your mind at this point? Like, you're like, all right, so I can't leave. I got these 3 psychopaths that just want to beat me up. What do you, and not for nothing. He does get beat up the entire movie. Like, his karate was, he did nothing the entire movie. He got beat up the entire movie.
He hit Mike Barnes one time, and then Mike Barnes just threw him through the glass. But how about when they're like, get him, and Mike's beating the crap out of him, basically kicks him outside. The 2 adult men are laughing. They're like, yeah, you know what? Go out and get him and bring him back in here. Kick his ass again. You're like, what is happening?
Well, but then Superman or Hulk throws Barnes back in. So it wasn't even like he tossed him. Like he was in the air. Like, yeah. And then Miyagi's karate is in slow motion. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, when he threw Mike Barnes, when Mike Barnes went at him and he did not know what he was up against, and he like karate chopped him a few times, and then he threw him into the wall, and then when he slapped the lights off, I'm like, all right, is this going to be like pitch dark, and then Miyagi's just going to beat everybody up, or we're just going to hear like karate kicks like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, it was dark. It was like dark. we can still see it, dude. And then he beats up Martin Cove once again. But dude, when he's fighting Terry Silver, he's like, whoa!
Yeah.
Again, is that a little like racist borderline or no? Like just to do like the
I
Chinese-
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, mind games. He's just trying to get in his head. And then he gets thrown through a glass mirror. And he's still kind of laughing. And Miyagi goes, whoa.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite parts, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when Miyagi does it?
Yeah, when Miyagi does it. That was the one time I laughed.
But one time, wait.
I mean, laughed like because it was supposed to be funny.
Okay, good. I was going to say, Terry Silver, man. Every line, he brought it. He
know what?
brought it. Was he ever? I have to look up his IMDb. He had to have been other stuff. They probably
We're gonna have
okay,
to reach out to him.
yeah.
That's my homework. I'm gonna reach out to Terry.
What was going through your mind this whole movie? He's like, I was on a lot of cocaine and mescaline.
Now these are like three tough guys, and all Miyagi does is throw them to the ground, and they can't get up anymore. Like I don't understand that. I don't understand how again he must have super strength.
Well, and then Terry Silver, after he gets thrown into the mirror and he's got paint, somehow there just happened to be paint above the mirror that falls on him. And then he's just kneeling on the ground. He looks totally fine except for being covered in paint. And he's yelling at Miyagi, and I'm watching him you can't get up and kick his ass.
Someone like him who has major anger issues, that with the paint spilling on him, he would have been pissed off. He would have been getting. Now he should want to kill Miyagi. Instead, he's laughing. He's just a psychopath. He's laughing about it. He's nuts.
Crazy.
Why was there paint there? Were they doing, I guess because they were planning on the big reopening with the 20 locations. They were like, you know what? Let's spruce up the original one. But yeah, that would be the part. Why didn't he get up? It was this professional wrestling. He was just sitting there all right, I got to sit here while this old guy just stands there. And
well, by the way, he also went there late at night, but the blinds had a lot of sunlight coming in. So I don't know if anyone noticed that.
I did.
So.
Oh God. So now
this is where Rocky comes in.
Yes.
This is the training.
This is pretty good. I like this.
I actually really liked this training montage. I just thought the way it was filmed, I thought it was really beautiful to look at. And there's that one really nice shot of Daniel and Miyagi, and it's their silhouette in front of that yellow sky and the bonsai tree. That was really cute. That was cool. I liked that.
Doug, did you think it was cute too, or?
I meant to say cool. It came out cute. I don't know why.
I cried at that point, but then they replanted the bonsai tree.
Yeah.
And that was the culmination. It was the full circle of the life.
Once again, so they had, first of all, so I guess they own rappelling equipment now at this point because the girl left, so she's not there. So they own the rope and the harness and all that stuff. And
she
again,
gifted it, baby.
And Miyagi is an expert rappel.
He did put it in the first time.
Okay.
So I mean, but yeah, I mean, and Daniel's not afraid. You almost died on a cliff rappelling for the first time. You're gonna want to go back there and do it again?
Never. I wouldn't even get close to it.
No.
I don't even stand near the edge of things because experiences that I had at heights. And this guy's just oh yeah, I'll dive right back. And I'd be like, hey Miyagi, I'll hold the rope. You go down there. You take care of it, okay?
Good luck.
Older man. This guy's gonna risk his life for this whole thing. But dude, so
the training. I was waiting for a special training thing though. In the first one he does the crane kick. The second one he does the ball thing. The
drum.
The drum. You call it drum, I call ball thing.
Okay.
But was there anything special? The ballet, where did he learn that one?
I don't know.
I think
he learned it in the second one. Did he learn that in the second one?
Yeah, the second one he starts learning it. And then but that's all he does. And
So he didn't learn that special move, the finishing move. He's like Mortal Kombat. In the first one he had the crane kick, and then the second one he had the ball thing.
Yeah.
And then this one he had no.
So it's tournament time. We see Mike Barnes easily makes work of the guy that he has to face, and we're right to the scene. And then just before that, dude, Terry Silver, man, he dresses really fancy for a illegal dumper.
His ascot was amazing. So appropriate for the venue.
And let's talk about his strategy. Did that make any sense? He tells Mike, get a point, and then I want you to hurt him and get a point taken away. Keep doing it for the full 3 minutes and then beat him in overtime. It's Why would you risk that? You just want to win. Why would you? I know you want to.
Because he's karate's bad boy. He's karate's bad boy. So that's first of all. But like, how many disqualifications do you get in a tournament? Like, how many illegal things can you do and still get away with it?
He did 10 of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you count?
Insane. No, I didn't. But it was that many for 3 minutes. It seemed like every time, because the fight scene was definitely shorter than 3 minutes. It was a 3-minute fight, but he beat the crap out of him.
He punched him after the whistle was blown. He punched him.
Yeah.
And the ref is like, "That's a warning."
Yes, that's okay. Well, according to Zabka, who played Johnny, he in the TV series, he's saying that the crane kick was illegal because it kicked him in the face and he won.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
So there might be a lot of maybe punching after the whistle's okay.
So real quick, Terry Silver, he's been in a sequel, Time Cop 2, The Berlin Decision, and he was actually in Behind Enemy Lines and Excessive Force.
Was Van Damme in Time Cop 2?
Well, at that point in his career, I'm sure he needed the money, so I think he was in it, but he is not in that.
Gina, I smell sequel.
But so how about the ref was the same ref in the first one, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Or the same curious mustache.
And the same
guy.
And the announcer was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that a high school? That's a high school? Like,
I would hope so.
I think it's a high school tournament. Oh, you mean like where is it?
well, it's a high school tournament and it's at a high school, correct?
I don't know.
It looks like a high school because it's
the
old,
bleachers. So again, it's a high school tournament at high school, but then again, you have someone who's graduate high school in the tournament.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe like you have to be under a certain age and then it's okay.
Terry Silver, he maybe just missed the cutoff. That would have been good too. A whole scene that they deleted that Terry Silver went to go sign up and they're like, "Oh man, your birthday's this day. You missed it by a day." He's like, "Oh, I gotta get karate's bad boy." So how about when Daniel's getting his ass beat and Terry Silver, the whole time he's smiling, yucking it up with Martin Cope. When he goes, "This is more fun than I thought." Dude,
I'm telling you, he's done stuff to this to kids before. He has to. He seems too professional with it. And he seems to get off really well on torturing young kids.
He enjoys it a little too much.
Yes.
For sure.
He definitely tortured mice as a kid or small animals. This guy is an absolute psycho.
Well, look at his son. If that's his son's a nut. So, I mean, just to give you an idea.
Oh, dude, that's a badass part, dude. When the son gets on the map and he's like, "Yeah, Daniel, you're gonna lose, Daniel."
And he pulls up.
Oh, dude, that was awesome.
That was good because he had a little fight in him at that moment. Like he wasn't defeated. But again, he got his ass kicked the whole movie except for one scene at the end. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Spoiler alert.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Sorry.
But that's why I don't buy him winning in the end. Because he just gets destroyed the entire movie by everybody. And Mr. Miyagi has to win all his battles for him.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, you take the first movie, Johnny's probably been doing karate for how long he was alive.
Yeah.
Daniel learned in 3 months, 4 months. He goes to Okinawa. He has a native of the land who's probably doing karate his entire life, which is obviously a huge country with karate. And Daniel beats him.
Right.
So somehow he's beating way too many people, and not for nothing. He has like a dad bod.
Yes. Especially this movie.
Yes.
And that really bothered me.
Yeah, he's more fluffy than the other ones. But you're right. So I wonder if people that are real karate people hated this movie. They're like, it takes years of discipline, and they're showing this kid learn how to paint a fence and hammer nails, and he's a pro in months.
I'll tell you right now, they're absolutely mad because I wrestled for a long time, and I watched Saved by the Bell when Slater, I think Slater was wrestling a girl or something like that, or wrestling something, and the moves they do are so ridiculous that it gets me mad because they're not real wrestling moves. So if you're into karate, I think you're gonna be annoyed.
Did you know that they're bringing back Saved by the Bell with Jesse Spano and AC Slater spinoff?
I did not know that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because 90210 is kind of working. I think.
Hold on a second. Can we go back to? You said that's awesome.
Yeah, why is that awesome?
Don't judge.
What is it? They're kids. So now we're gonna watch their kids.
Yes, we're gonna watch their kids.
Oh,
I'm gonna watch.
What is Karate Kid, the TV show, about?
It's them playing themselves.
Oh, I thought there were kids in it.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't watched it.
It's great. It really is good. Yeah, Gina, you haven't seen it either?
I haven't seen it.
It is so good. Johnny.
YouTube Premium is a little rich for my blood, you know?
Well, the first 30 days free.
1 week trial, so you could
No,
binge it.
a free 30-day trial.
Oh,
30 days. There you go.
I'm telling you, it's worth watching. Johnny is like the main star of the movie, the show. He's great.
So he's a star again. Look at that. So when he's on the ground, I guess that's what makes no sense, because he said get a point, disqualification, take a point, so it's 0-0. So he gets a good hit on just before, and they're like, it's going to go in overtime. And dude, when he's on the ground in pain, dude, the ad lib that Sean did was amazing.
Oh God, that was awesome.
I wrote down a few of them, and he said, "You're shit. Your teacher's shit. He's nothing. You're nothing. I own you."
Well, I think Daniel didn't get mad until he talked about Miyagi. Like, he was okay saying you're shit, but when he says your teacher's shit, his eyes opened up, and that was I didn't hear no bell. That was the Rocky moment where he was going to get up and take care of business.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I do like about his character in this is how loyal and devoted he is to Miyagi. I think there's something really
he wasn't loyal the whole movie.
That's true. Okay, fair point.
He made Miyagi cry when he yelled at him. And
he
slammed
did.
the door in
That
his
was
face.
upsetting. Yeah.
So but he earned his loyalty back.
Yes, he did.
Now his mom is still not in the picture. How long does Uncle Louie need help for?
Emphysema is lifelong illness, Jamie. It's something I'd laugh about.
So she's dropping her son, not living with us to take care of her son, who still doesn't know he's not going to college.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, he's just going to have a bonsai.
And I do have a problem Miyagi taking the money. I mean, he's a good guy, but this kid's education, he's going to use all that tuition for Miyagi.
But he never charged him for his karate lessons, and those are priceless. You can't put a price on
I guess he figured he'll sell one bonsai and
one $10,000 bonsai.
That's it.
Hey, how are you in Harvard, Daniel? You know, my teacher sold 5 bonsai and covered his semester. So Mike Barnes is whooping his ass the whole time, right? 3 minutes just owning him. But Daniel dancing like a Saturday Night Fever extra, he confused him that much that he just like, I don't know what to do, man.
These moves I've never seen before. I'm confused.
You know what, though? There's a YouTube video I think I saw of some guy doing moves like that, like a couple years ago, and like some bully was picking on him, and he was doing like that ballet stuff, and he kicked the crap out of the other guy. Like they were laughing at him. So I think he probably maybe kill him with laughter, like kill him with confusion, and took him out of it.
It worked.
It did work.
And then music hits, and then
the music in this movie makes every scene, because without the music, forget about it.
Yeah.
Although I could have used your best around. I would have liked to hear that one more time.
I know. That's such a great song. That guy has multiple songs too.
Joe Esposito?
Oh yeah. I can't name them. Don't ask me. But that song's awesome.
He has multiple songs.
Yeah. No, I did have to name 3 multiple times already, and I did pretty good each time. And then one of the songs actually came back. I forgot which song you
maybe came back.
No, we were talking about it like an episode, and then the next episode somehow one of those songs. Oh, it was Kiss, and then the next episode was Bill and Ted, and that's the final song. But
so are you saying that like one of the next episodes we're gonna have Joe Esposito's unknown song?
If Joe Esposito's song is in Poltergeist 2, I'm going to just flip. But, so Daniel wins. Freeze frame. Credits roll. So, Gina, as our guest, what would you recommend someone to watch this movie if they haven't seen it already?
No.
Nice.
Is there anything that you think they could have done to make people watch this movie? If you were in charge, Gina, the writer, what would you have changed?
I think one of the things I definitely would have changed was the relationship with Jessica. It just really didn't sit well with me that when they first meet, she, gets him to ask her out. And then that same night she's like, oh, have a boyfriend. Sorry, let's just be friends. And then I didn't feel like her role helped the plot at all in any way. She could have not existed. She could have been a guy. And I think it would have been the
Wait, she was a guy?
Yeah, but it could have been replaced by a male part, and it would have not changed the story at all. And then she leaves, and we don't see her after that. And their parting is very lukewarm. I don't know. I just wasn't. That bothered me. I wanted a love interest. I wanted a romance. Poor Daniel, he keeps getting dumped by all these great girls. Give him a break.
Well, was he dumped in the second one?
Yeah, Allie dumps
she never came.
No, but he didn't get dumped by the girl that he met.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stays in Japan.
Oh, okay.
She won't because he's like, yeah, she's not coming.
Yeah, really quick. The mom was like, I'm with your uncle Louie, and is your girlfriend coming? And he's like, no, Kimiko, she's staying there. And there was like a quick breeze off, but yeah. So Jamie, what would you say?
Well, I think you're too invested. If you saw the first two, you kind of have to see the third one because it's the same actors. So I think, you see it once, you're fine. You may not enjoy it as much. But I think you have to just because you saw the first two kind of thing. I think it was way slower than the other two. I agree. There was way too much with Jessica. It just slowed the whole movie down. There was just too much nonsense. Now, what I would change, maybe at the end, Jessica turns into a man. Like where Gina's see, there we go.
That's a big reveal.
That's a big reveal. So
very crying game.
It's Johnny Lawrence. That's Johnny Lawrence.
There you go.
Rips her face off.
Wow.
And it's Johnny.
Then it's like Old Boy. And then it's just a little sicko kind of.
Gina, you didn't see Old Boy, right?
No.
Oh, don't see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very disturbing movie. But that's So I mean, you know what? I think Barnes was good. I would like to see a little bit more. I feel like you didn't see much of his karate. He did more talking than anything else. I mean, I liked it, but I don't know. Maybe bring some of the old Cobra Kai back, saying that it was too slow. It was just too much relationship and not enough Miyagi and Daniel.
No, I have to agree. I would definitely tell people to watch it because just how insane it is. If you've seen the first two, you would not have thought that this movie would be what it is. It's absolutely insane that these adults are just trying to just ruin this kid's lives, punish him, put him through pain, make it so he breaks his hands, his feet, and just wild. The only thing I would honestly change, obviously the relationship with Jessica, but God, the whole bonsai kind of thing, that whole bonsai business thing was just really slow. It could have been maybe Miyagi starts his own school and maybe takes interest in another pupil, and Daniel, that's why he goes off. But it's just weird that he just I don't know, just the whole thing about the bonsai just is slow.
I wanted to bring this up real quick with the bonsai tree. So if you put tape around it, it forms back together. Is that how? I'm not a tree expert. I mean, you work for tree.
It does.
So I'm just all you do is put a Band-Aid on it, and a tree that's split in half can somehow go back together.
Yeah, I do have a bonsai tree. I got my wife one for Mother's Day. But
why don't you try it? Split it in half.
See what happens.
Yes.
Tape it back together.
You got to plant it on the cliff. So if you've never done it before, give it a shot.
Keep it away from salt water, by the way.
No salt water. Did you know who one of the original Cobra Kai were? One of the background guys that really didn't even talk? It was Steve McQueen's son. I don't know.
That's right. I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
So that is Karate Kid Part 3. That was honestly going into it. That was after watching it was one of the craziest movies I think we've seen. We've seen some bad ones, obviously. They were just bad and just crazy because they were so uninteresting. This movie was just so interesting. Just Terry Silver was just absolutely a madman. And I do wish there was more Mike Barnes too, but you had to keep the amount of time we saw Terry. I'm not asking for more Terry, but same Terry, just more Mike Barnes, less maybe Jessica or the bonsai business. But
I agree.
So that's it. So next week we have a pretty epic interview, a person that you might have never even heard of before, but you've seen a lot of his movies, and that's Michael Grace. Man, he's written movies like Death Hunt, which is an amazing Charles Bronson movie. He wrote a Seagal movie, Marked for Death. But we are going to be covering Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, which, man, he has some cool stories about working with Steven Spielberg and some of his later work and just everything about making a movie. When he talks about making Poltergeist 2, he was in charge of everything. He got producer credits on it. So Yeah. And he's a pretty interesting guy. Some really cool stories about famous people that he just says like they're the guy next door. And I'm like jaw dropped the whole time. Jamie, did you ever see Poltergeist 2?
I saw it a long time ago. So it'll be interesting to watch again.
Yeah, I watched one of the clips on YouTube and it made me almost vomit in my mouth. But, so Gina, thanks for coming on, and we'll find a movie down the road. You suggest another one, Jamie can go hunting and we can find somebody to talk to. And don't forget to review, rate, and share our podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook @Sequels Only. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.